As the world increasingly moves towards a new set of ideals towards centralization, here's realistically what is going to happen, how it's going to happen, and the reasons that this is happening may honestly shock you. Hello and welcome back to the Traveling Report. Today we're going over centralization and what it means for the future of the world, realistically. As many of you may have heard, there are terms being thrown around frequently. De-Dollarization, multipolar, people learning what exactly is going on. However, often they get this wrong. As honestly speaking, I am within many different countries, and the dollar still dominates, even amongst Russians. I'm currently here in Tbilisi, Georgia, and even amongst Russians, the dollar dominates. And it's with this that, of course, you get a very interesting ideal towards the world and how it is operating. Because when others are turning right, realistically, the most important thing, if we understand the global order correctly, and we understand that right is going to get everyone in a car wreck or backed up in traffic, is to go left. Of course, that analogy was off the head, so I'm sure it was a bit difficult to understand, but essentially what I'm saying is when others are following the herd, often those that are following big money are the ones that make true profits. And oftentimes when I am confronted with people who speak about de-dollarization, who speak about this changing global order, the global order isn't changing. And in fact, this is reinforced by people wanting to get second citizenship. This is reinforced by people having dollar-denominated returns and offshoring them and then getting currency, hard currency, and then denominating it in dollars. It is insane how little people think about the totality of what dollar denomination means, because 80% of all trades is somehow routed through the dollar. 80%. That's higher than in 2008. And for me, I'm not betting on the dollar, right? But what I am betting on is that the dollar isn't going anywhere. And so what you can do is you can think about that and really corroborate that lens. And once you start understanding how exactly this will work, what you'll get is a clear thesis towards where you are investing. And additionally, I am stacking passports, but it's not because I expect the US to get weaker. It's not because I expect people to start, destroying the United States. I do think that it is a divisive and realistically important time in history for us to come together. However, realistically, in a lot of cases, we've seen this happen in the United States. The Civil War. The Union didn't fall. People talk about the Civil Rights Movement. The Union didn't fall. So while I don't necessarily agree wholly with what the US is doing, well, I don't necessarily agree wholly with how the US is running their country. What I can say is there's a grain of truth to every statement, and every statement realistically is worth verifying, worth looking into. And I'm looking, as I grow in business, finance, whatever, at countries where the returns are denominated in dollars, but they're using another currency. Because that way I get another hedge. That way I get another way of earning returns. And for instance, in Armenia, a lot of the real estate is priced in dollars, not in dram, but in dollars. Georgia, a lot of the real estate is priced in dollars or euro. Cambodia, a lot of the real estate is priced in dollars. And these are dollarized economies. These are places where you can get returns in dollars. But guess what? Georgia isn't as expensive as a country that used the whole dollars. Now, there is one exception to this, and that of course is Ecuador. And as I move throughout the world, I will go and visit Ecuador. That's within the next few years here. But if you look at how these things really work, you'll understand exactly how to inform yourself, but also inform others as to what the next big opportunity is. And when I say big opportunity, I mean not US scale returns at 10 to 15%. I mean 20, 30, 40% returns consistently without much more risk. And as I have grown, as I have developed my strategies, I've made, high returns. I've made a ton of mistakes as well. And so for me, it's important to give you all the ideas and the track to learn and grow through these metrics. Of course, not everyone is within the mindset that they should learn about these things. Not everyone is within the mindset that they are in a position to do these things. And this is the largest arbitrage opportunity, because in a multipolar world, the person who moves first, and if you believe truly that the world is multipolar, which realistically I think is the centralization of the world is being proven right now. However, if you believe that one side is going to win over another, then it is so important to lock in some asset that is extremely connected to that side. However, you should also look for arbitrage on top of that to then grow the totality of the investment. So, of course, if you are looking for one-on-one consulting on investments or, let's say, citizenship, residencies, internationalization, globalization, feel free to reach out on my contact link down below. If you want to support this channel and join me on this journey of internationalization and globalization, feel free to subscribe. It takes a second, and I really do appreciate it. If you like this video, feel free to like it. If you really like this video, feel free to share it with your friends. With that said, this has been the Triangle Report. Signing off.